Wealthy, discreet, surrounded by power, and accused of one of the biggest sex trafficking rings involving minors of the century. Jeffrey Epstein built an empire of influence, and a system of abuse that survived for decades. This is the story of the man no one wanted to see in prison. Jeffrey Edward Epstein was born on January 20, 1953, in Brooklyn, New York. The son of Pauline, Paula, Stolovsky and Seymour Epstein, he grew up in Seagate, a working-class community on Coney Island. He was the older brother, a discreet family, far from the glamour that Jeffrey would later achieve. Epstein began his career as a teacher in elite schools in Manhattan, without a traditional university degree. Next, he entered the financial market, worked at Bear Stearns, and then built his own network of wealthy clients. He sold an image of a private advisor, a manager of the wealth of the very rich, and thus built ties with billionaires, celebrities, and politicians. Private jets, parties and well-known recruitment networks. Young girls lured with promises of money or work, staged sessions, use of assistants/recruiters, such as Ghislaine Maxwell as a key figure in the network. A British socialite and Jeffrey Epstein's main accomplice, convicted of crimes related to the recruitment, grooming, and sex trafficking of minors used in the financier's abuse network. Investigations cited since the mid-2000s that culminated in state charges in Florida. Epstein reached a deal with prosecutors in Florida that resulted in a very lenient sentence, about 13 months in a local prison with work release and a federal non-prosecution agreement for many alleged co-conspirators. This agreement was widely criticized as lenient and secretive. For many, the 2008 plea deal demonstrated not only Epstein's power, but also the fragility of the system when confronted with money and influence. In July 2019, Epstein was arrested again in New York on federal charges of sex trafficking and conspiracy to traffic minors. The case promised to expose names and networks that had previously remained in the shadows. Mentioner que documentos y testimonios apontavam para esquema que opera por años y envolvia varias víctimas y facilitadores. His brother Mark appeared in investigations and cooperated with authorities at times. The family maintained a relatively low profile in the face of the scandal. As the world escalated in theories and investigations, relatives grappled with a mixture of shame, denial, and, for some, reports of surprise, but they were also called to testify and account for logistical information. Epstein was well known in the Palm Beach social scene and frequented Mar-a-Lago, Donald Trump's club, in the 1990s and 2000s. Photos and videos of them together at parties in the 1990s exist. Trump and Epstein socialized in the same circle in Palm Beach at the time. Trump has publicly stated that he knew Epstein and, in past interviews, spoke positively about him. Later, after the accusations, Trump claimed he broke off relations and said that Epstein stole women from the Mar-a-Lago spa, and downplayed his involvement. Central themes: whether Trump had knowledge of or participated in the activities, whether he was on Epstein's properties, and how close the two were in the 1990s. The close social ties between Epstein and powerful figures fueled theories and investigations, but social proximity is not, in itself, proof of criminal complicity. Still, The presence of politicians, businesspeople, and celebrities in Epstein's orbit amplified the public perception that there was a protective network. On August 10, 2019, Epstein was found dead in his cell at the Metropolitan Correctional Center. The recorded cause was suicide by hanging. The case triggered investigations by the FBI and the Department of Justice. Reports documented supervisory failures, malfunctioning cameras, guards who failed to perform routine checks, and minor indictments related to falsifying records. These failures fueled doubts, and theories of homicide, that persist among the public and commentators. Whether suicide was proven or not, Epstein's death brought to a close a trial that could have revealed secrets, and, simply put, left more questions than answers. Ghislaine Maxwell, a central figure in Epstein's social circle, was arrested in 2020, tried, and convicted of helping to recruit, prepare, and facilitate the abuse of girls, serving as an example of how the network began to be dismantled. Civil documents, victim lawsuits, and investigations continue to generate revelations and litigation. The case has transformed debates about sex trafficking, impunity, and the accountability of powerful individuals. Jeffrey Epstein was not just a criminal, he was a symbol of institutional failures when it comes to those with money and connections. His case forced the world to look at power structures that protected abysses of exploitation. For the victims, the search for justice remains, and for society, the obligation not to forget. The Epstein case shows that power can hide horrors, and that the truth only comes to light when someone decides to look deeper. Epstein fell, but the system that protected him still breathes. Jeffrey Epstein is best described as a functional psychopath, extreme narcissist, and highly organized sexual predator whose primary motivation was power, control, and systematic exploitation. In Behind the Mask, we expose what many prefer to keep silent. Turn on notifications and keep following the channel to go beyond the shadows.